Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Well, you got to take your hat off to the South African Human Rights Commission because they are consistent in their inconsistency. Their rulings are so biased, it is quite extraordinary. Now, a complaint was lodged against one Julius Malema. I will be putting up a PDF so you can actually go and read the PDF yourself. And the complaint was about this statement by Julius Malema. In November 2016, Malema made the following statement about white people. They found peaceful Africans here. They killed them. They slaughtered them like animals. We are not calling for the slaughtering of white people, at least not for now. What we're calling for is a peaceful occupation of the land, and we don't owe anyone an apology for that. And then the SAHRC, the South African Human Rights Commission, say, you allege that this statement incites violence against white people and constitutes hate speech. Now, it's interesting because when you read this document, the SAHRC accept what Malema says there as factually correct, when it's totally incorrect. Starting off with, they found peaceful Africans here. What a load of bullshit. Shaka Zulu, Dingaan, they were the most violent kings of the Zulu nation who totally obliterated hundreds of thousands of tribes, men, women and children. There was an area in East Griqualand, inland from Pondoland, between the Drakensberg and Pondoland, where the Pondos moved to escape the Zulus. And this area was called No Man's Land in the 1850s. And you know why it was called No Man's Land? Because the Zulus had come through and wiped out everybody in this huge area. And it's the area that the Griquas actually settled back in about 1853, 1854, at a place called Kokstad. But the SAHRC are accepting Malema's statement that the Afrikaners, the Boers, found peaceful Africans living here. What about Piet Retief? Was that peaceful, what they did to him? They slaughtered him and his party after entering into a valid agreement over land. The SAHRC need a history lesson before they produce the crap that they have. Malema goes on to say, the Boers killed the peaceful Africans. Now, who attacked who at Blood River? Who attacked who in the other various fights that went on at that time? The Boers were actually defending themselves. They were not going out there killing the Zulu. That's another piece of bullshit that the SAHRC are accepting as fact on the basis of their determination that this statement by Malema is not hate speech. It's quite extraordinary. Malema goes on to say, same comment, the Boers slaughtered the Zulus and the Xhosas and others like animals. No, they didn't. They could have, but they didn't. They defeated them, yes. But they were not the ones who were antagonizing the other party. The Xhosas in the Eastern Cape were attacking the whites who were right on the frontier of the Fish River. It wasn't the whites attacking the Xhosa. It was the other way around. Same thing happened up in KwaZulu-Natal with the Boers. As I said, the SAHRC is absolutely inconsistent with their rulings. And Malema goes on to say, we are not calling for the slaughtering of white people, at least not for now. Now, how can that not be hate speech? Well, in this document, of course, the SAHRC try and justify what he says, and they use all the nice buzzwords to try and get around it. And I'll just find the piece that is so relevant here. Further, this is point 10 in this document. Further, in assessing whether the statements amount to hate speech, context is crucial. Regard must be had to the factual, social, and historical context in which the utterances were made. The identity of the offender and target group as belonging to a vulnerable group will have an impact on any determination of hate speech in line with the Constitutional Court jurisprudence. And they go on to say, point 11, in the lead up to the statement, Mr. Malema makes an argument for occupying land on the basis that the land belongs to black people. He argues he is willing to go to prison for occupying land, but not for corruption. Isn't that interesting? He states that the black African masses own the land, and land is everything, and without land you are nothing. He argues that land is part of black identity. He then goes on to state that despite this, black people painfully have nothing to prove that they are from a particular place because they cannot show a title deed. He states that this land belonged to Malungus, and then questions why it is so that no one must disturb the peace of white people. He asks rhetorically, how are you to disturb the peace of white people? Is it because the white people are from heaven? Now, you'll notice when you read this document that they try and turn everything around to make what Malema is saying okay. It's not hate speech. He then says, this is point 12, he then says, this is Malema, says, white people are untouchable. If you touch a white person, you will go to jail. And that even under the ANC, black people are subjects of white people. That's bullshit. He says that he does not serve white masters and that he is here to disturb the white man's peace. He states that black people have never known peace, and in contrast, white people have been swimming in a pool of privilege because they always owned our land. Finally, he says that black people's peace has been disturbed by white people and makes the statement complained of at this point in the speech. Mr. Malema then goes on to critique the ANC for laying a complaint against him for disturbing the peace of white people, and that the revolution is about disturbing the peace of those who are comfortable. Now, you'll notice that in no part of this document do they condemn the statements by Malema. They basically endorse the statements by Malema. Now, if this had been a white politician talking about the shoe on the other foot, the SAHRC would have had that person before the courts and in jail before you could say diddly squat. Anyway, look, I'm going to let you read this document, which, as I said, I will attach. In point 15, it says, importantly, this statement is about how white people behaved historically. It is not about how they are behaving now. Mr. Malema also specifically says he is not calling for the killing or slaughtering of white people now. He's only calling for the occupation of the land. Now, you notice where they say the statements about how white people behaved historically. So they are accepting his completely false statement that the Africans, the black Africans, were living in peace before the Boers came through and upset the apple cart. This document is extraordinary. It's a complete fabrication, and it reflects how corrupt South Africa government is at all levels. Please remember to subscribe. I will put a link to the document below, and have a great day. Bye for now.